Welcome, everybody, to the Living Oneness Gathering and podcast. I am your host, Sue Dumais. It's an honor to be here once again, and I definitely feel more energized than last week. Last week, I had some jet lag still from coming back from Australia. I didn't sleep on the plane this last time, which is very interesting. I didn't get a window seat, which was curious because normally it's really easy for me to get a window seat. And I had this individual beside me who was quite anxious getting on the plane. So I already knew that he was having some anxiety and he was going to need some support. So ended up sitting, of course, I sat beside him. Of course, he's right beside me. So I believe he was had some autistic challenges. So I could feel his energy really jittery. So me sitting beside him, his energy just grounded. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I may not get sleep, but I'm here for a reason. And then there was another couple that was traveling with two young children, a toddler and a newborn, beside me on the other side. And their child ended up being sick through most of the flight, vomiting, had something going on, and they had a doctor come from the flight. They called anybody who was a doctor that could come and help. And as they were calling for support, I just kind of put my hand up and sent some healing energy over that way. I'm like, okay, they need my support. Okay, I'm clearly not meant to sleep on this plane. So when I got back, I couldn't quite get back into my timeline. And then our clocks changed here in BC as well, an hour. And you'd think an hour wouldn't make a difference when I'm already dealing with 18 hours difference, but it really did make a difference. So I ended up taking the weekend to unplug and rest and restore and get back on some idea of this timeline, or this time zone, I should say. So that's been interesting. So it feels good to have a little bit more energy and feel like I've landed in a way on the ground here in Canada. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you being here. And today I was really feeling just this influx and intensity of the emotions that are going on right now globally. And a lot of people are often not afraid of their emotions, but a little cautious of the emotions, or protective of their emotions, or guarded around their emotions. And this is something we're programmed to do. This is something we learn very early on in life. We're taught not to be emotional. Or if we're emotional, then it looks like a sign of weakness. Or if we're too emotional, it makes other people uncomfortable. But I need you to understand that your emotions they hold such a huge potential for your intuition, for your intuitive knowing, for that channel that we use to receive messages from our higher self, our divine self. So recognizing that in some ways, the societal norm is to swallow down your emotions, choke them back, wipe your tears, hold them back in some way. Don't put them out in public. Don't be too emotional. I want to wipe all of those beliefs away for you. I want to start with a clean slate, a blank canvas, and say, you know what? What if everything you thought you knew about your emotions wasn't accurate or wasn't true? Because some of it's not true. And what if your emotions don't make you look weak? What if your emotions are actually your superpower? What if being sensitive is actually a superpower? What if being emotional and allowing our emotions to have an expression, it's an energy. Emotions are energy in movement. What if we allow those emotions to move in the way that they need to, so that that energy has an expression and is able to transform or transmute or expand or contract or whatever it needs to do The energy knows what it needs to do. It's our minds that hold us back from the emotional releases. It's our mind and our programming, what we've been taught and what we believe. That's what holds the emotions in. That's what makes us contract around them. That's what makes us choke back our tears or hold back and try and swallow down our emotions or bury our anger. But emotions are your superpower. They provide an electromagnetic charge in the body. And when we have that conductivity flowing in our fascia, in our hydration, in the water in our body, through our neurovascular system, through our energetic meridians, when we have that conductivity is really flowing, then our emotions become like a supercharged battery, a natural battery. And when we have a healthy relationship or a healthy understanding, let's say it that way, because it's really an understanding at the level of the mind. When we have a healthy understanding about our emotions, we can process emotions very efficiently. So, for instance, anger can be processed within 15 seconds. And being spiritual and being in alignment and leading with the heart doesn't mean that you don't have human emotions rise up. It's that you don't have any attachment or condition or limitations or perceptions that they're right or wrong or you should or shouldn't be feeling them. They're just there. They just come up. It's like energy. It's just expressed. It's just cleared. In that expression, in that processing, it's cleared. So if I have a moment where I feel anger or frustration, it just like it flows, it just like moves through and it's done. I don't carry it. I used to carry it. I used to bury it because I didn't understand it. And I also, my understanding was that anger was unhealthy, that there was no healthy expression of anger. So I had a lot of judgments and beliefs around anger. So I would hold it back. But now I recognize and realize that energy is just energy. And the emotions that we would call negative emotions, some people would label them negative emotions, they're just emotional energy that is more dense. So anger just shows up more dense than joy. It's more light, it's more expanded, it has more space in the energy. It's a different energy signature, but all of it's energy. So when we have judgments about our emotions, or we hold back our emotions, or we bury them, or we tuck them away, or we keep them kind of stored in certain areas, we often have pockets of grief or pockets of guilt or pockets of shame in the different areas of the energy body, but also in the physical body. You can hold emotions in the fascia. Even the fascia tissues can actually hold emotional energy. When we have those leftovers, then our conductivity, our body's ability to flow and let the energy flow through us efficiently is impeded. It's blocked or it's congested. And these areas or these pockets of density or trapped energy end up becoming some form of dis-ease, illness, disease, which I call frequency illness, because it's just about the energy and the frequency. If you can clear the energy and the frequency, then often the dis-ease or the illness unravels itself, unless it's on your soul script. That's a different story altogether. But energetically, if we approach it from an energy and frequency, which everything is, then we can actually unravel things really quite efficiently. And miraculously, sometimes the mind might be a little bit boggled by that or stretched by that idea. But that's what's possible. And that's not only what has been possible, but that's what's more going to become more and more second nature for us again. This is the direction we're heading. So instead of looking at something from a place of form, it's hard, it's dense, it's like a rock. We approach it from a frequency perspective, we can sense potentially that that rock is not actually solid. It's an energy. And we can influence it by working on the level of frequency, working on the level of energy. We can influence all form. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a bone in the body or a muscle in the body, which the skull that seems solid, an organ that seems solid, its form, it's still all energy, it's all frequency. So it can all be influenced when we approach it from an energetic standpoint. You're going to understand this more and more moving forward. We're kind of at that breakthrough point. I've been working with this for decades now, and it's really great to see others kind of catching up and maybe science catching up and people's minds expanding around it. But ultimately, this is the direction we're heading. This is the timeline we're shifting to for all of humanity and Mother Earth. Approaching everything from a level of frequency, feeling, energy. And that can be influenced by emotional energy, that can be influenced by sound. There's a lot of different things you can have more approach from an idea of energy medicine or frequency medicine, a frequency remedy. So one remedy for you is to let yourself feel what you're feeling at the time you're feeling it. Don't judge feeling emotional. Don't judge feeling sad. If a wave of sadness washes up, let it. Let it have its expression. Give yourself permission just to feel it. And the mind will stop you because it's like, well, why are you sad? What's going on? What's the problem? There's no problem. It's just maybe just a wave of energy that suddenly a pocket opened up and it needs to be expressed, it needs to find a pathway to be processed. So this week, I give you permission to feel what you feel when you feel it, and to do so without judgment, to do so without condition, without limits even. If you feel sad and you feel waves of sadness, maybe you're feeling some of the collective, you can ask that to process on the outer layer of your field. It doesn't have to process inside your body or in your energy field. You can allow that to process on the outside. But just know that if you're feeling something, there's a reason for it. And you don't necessarily have to know the reason. Go to the feeling, follow the feeling, give space to the feeling, create space for the emotion, whatever expression it needs. And in doing that, you're clearing your channel. You're clearing clutter. You're opening the pockets and you're releasing the pockets. And the more clear you are, the more you increase that conductivity in your body, the more efficient you can work with the energies that are within and around you, the more you will feel stable, unshakable, and grounded. Not only emotionally stable, but mentally stable, physically stable. Even when you're on a roller coaster, I can have these emotional roller coasters, and in a day I can go through 20 different emotions and I can feel solid, like I can feel steady in that. I can hold steady because I'm not in my head trying to figure it out and question it and judge it and want to know and try and go like down a wormhole there in the mind. I'm just present to the emotions. The more you move into the heart space, the more emotional you are going to feel. That is a good thing. We as a society have been emotionally disconnected and discouraged from letting our emotions move through us. So today, and this week, I'm just giving you permission to feel your emotions when you feel. Whatever you feel at the moment, just feel it. I'm feeling angry and it's okay. How does this anger want to move through me? Maybe you need to scream into a pillow. Maybe you need to punch a pillow. Maybe you just need to take 2 breaths and boom, it's gone. How does this energy need to move through me? How does it want to move through me? Does it need me to understand anything? Is there anything I need to know or understand about it? And if you don't get anything, then let it be processed. Don't go searching, don't go digging. Don't be archaeologists and try and figure it all out. Just let it be. Just be with the emotion. Witness it, honor it, process it. Even gratitude and appreciation for it. And as Shrek always says, better out than in. So you want to have that emotion have an outlet. If it's not meant to be held within you, let it be transmuted if it's meant to stay. And then if not, let it be released. So you can free that energy so that it can be used in another way, not a way that's being held and contracted and held back. Let it be freed so that it can have its expression, it can have its own evolution, however it's meant to be used. So let's dive in and see where we go. A little journey into the heart and into our emotional bodies, and a willingness just to feel what you feel when you feel it. If you're willing, you can say yes, thank you. And let's dive in. So as you rest your eyes closed, if you're able to, we're first going to set an intention just to give permission for you, everyone who's joining live, and everybody who will be listening live at their own time to the replay. Just creating an opening for that willingness. Yes, I'm willing. I'm willing to explore any leftovers, any areas or pockets that I'm holding. Recognizing that the body will only release what you're capable of processing at this time. So you may have a pocket release at a certain degree, a certain level, and then later you might have a little bit more of that same pocket release, a little bit more. It's like releasing in layers, like an onion, peeling it back. And then trusting, and even setting an intention and trusting that you will only be given what you can handle. It may be challenging, it may be stretching your mind, it may be a little bit challenging for you to go through some of the emotional layers, but just know that your body, your mind, your energy field, and your heart is capable of handling whatever is going to be released today. If you agree, say yes, thank you. So let's begin by bringing your awareness to the left side of your brain. And we've done this before in different ways, but this time what we're doing is going to the left side of the brain to recognize that for most people, the left side of the brain is the analytical, try to figure things out, got your to-do list there, but it's also a part of the brain that likes to create stories so that everything makes sense. There's actually research and studies done where they recognize the left side of the brain will actually create and make up a story about why you are feeling what you're feeling to try and make sense of it. So in this moment, we're going to let go of the need to know or understand or make sense of any of the emotions that are going to rise up today. So we're going to just let the left side of the brain take a little pause. The left side of the brain will not only create stories, but it will also drag you down into wormholes of trying to figure things out, analyze, judge, question, confusion. So we're going to pause the left side of the brain, pause it from doing any work in this moment. It's like, thank you for being there. I'm good. I'm going to go over to the right side of my brain now. So as you shift your awareness over to the right side of your brain, this is the right side in your physical head. Just imagine looking over to the right side and just notice the difference. Often the left side is a little bit busier. There's stuff going on. You have a different sensation, or some of you may have visual images. What you're seeing or sensing isn't important compared to what other people are. It's more just how do you feel on the left side, and now how do you feel on the right side of the brain? This is the present moment, creative side of your brain. It's often more of a quiet side. It's often more the side of the brain that you're really activating and in touch with when you're in a creative mode. Say, if you're a painter, or if you're writing poetry, or feeling really inspired and in a creative mode, you will be in that right side. And often that right side of the brain is very quiet, almost a stillness. There's a stillness, but there's so much movement and creativity there, but it's still, there's a underlying stillness, a peaceful calm, maybe even. And the right side of the brain can be very present, a beautiful, present, compassionate witness. The left side is often influenced by the ego, so it likes to judge, question. I'm going to the right side of the brain, and then from the right side of the brain down into the heart space. You could take an elevator down, you could take a staircase down, just finding your way down into the heart. And just notice what's happening in the heart. Sometimes the heart can feel a little bit guarded, protected, shielded. For some people, the heart might be in a safe, even locked away in a big container, locked up, trying to protect themselves. Taking a deep breath in this space without judging or questioning or even trying to change anything. Just observe and notice what's happening in the front of the heart space compared to the back of the heart space. One area might feel more open and soft, or might feel the same. You might even notice the right side of the heart space compared to the left side of the heart space. Just notice if you go into the heart space, what emotions are present. If you go right into the center of the heart, right in the center of the chest, what emotions are present? And as you begin to recognize or identify or shine light on those emotions, an invitation to create space for those emotions to be witnessed, to be honored, to be accepted. So if you feel that there's some sadness there, just like, hello, sadness, you're welcome. You're welcome here. You feel grief, hello, grief, you're welcome here. Anger, whatever it is, you are welcome here. You may even zoom out a little bit and start to identify certain emotions held in the body in different places. Whatever you're meant to shine light on in this moment, whatever you're meant to become aware of, allow yourself to become aware. Again, don't go searching and seeking for all of it. Just be curious, be in that space of curiosity in the mind. Invite wonderment. I wonder what emotions I'm holding in different areas of the body. And just let your awareness land there, or let the emotions guide you into those spaces. Let the energy invite you in or direct you. Let your intuition or your heart lead you. And each time you meet or greet an area that has an emotion that's being held, just welcome it. Thank it for showing itself. Appreciation for the awareness. Recognizing it's just energy. And there doesn't need to be a story attached to it. If there is, there is. If there isn't, that's okay. And just keep in mind, too, that if something does come in as an idea of what it's connected to, just hold that idea softly. Don't grip it and decide, oh, I know what this is about. Just be curious. You can stay in that space of wonderment around it. Staying wide open, because sometimes in the pockets where we gather certain emotions, we kind of store certain emotions together. It could be related to 1,000 different experiences, could be related to 10 different memories. And the mind will want to make up a story and know what it's about, which will limit our ability to process all of it, potentially limit us. So we want to stay wide, wide open, open to anything, attached to nothing. And the only expectation we'll open up to is a miracle. I'm not attached to anything moving, shifting, changing, leaving, or even processing. We're just right now witnessing, creating awareness. Imagine you could zoom out for a moment and just see the whole body as an energy. The whole body is an energy field. The emotions are within the energy field. The thoughts are within the energy field. Everything is just energy. And even if you can't see that or sense that, it's okay. Just imagine you could. Imagine you could sense that on some level. Not everybody is visual. It's okay. What if it was all energy? And these emotions, which sometimes we can judge as negative emotions or dense emotions, or emotions that are wrong, we shouldn't be feeling those. What if all of those emotions, what if there was no right or wrong? What if they're all just energy in different forms and frequencies, and we could embrace all of it in this moment? Accept all emotions without judgment. And then there's an invitation to start to bring those energies into space of the heart or the central channel. So that beautiful channel along your, just in front of your spine, up and down through the body. Sometimes it's easy to bring the energy and the emotions into that channel and stir them in. to be honored, to be witnessed, to be processed. Sometimes they just quickly find their own path out. So setting an intention, let these emotions be processed in the way they need to. Let me allow them, let me allow the energy to find its own pathway if needed. Perhaps the path of least resistance. Some energy might come out the shoulder through the arm. It might leave through the hip. It might go down through the feet. It might be processed in the heart and cleared up through the crown or down through the tailbone. Just a willingness to allow it to move. So we're going to lift that crown center, the crown chakra, off the top of the head. For those of you that have it tucked on top of the head touching, we're going to lift it about a foot off. So we have space in the first 7 layers of your energy field to help you process these emotions. There we go. Beautiful. It's moving a little bit more freely. So we can imagine stirring it into the heart center and stirring it in at the throat if it's needed, wherever in the solar plexus, in the pelvis, wherever it is, just stirring it in. And you're stirring it with love and compassion. You're adding love and compassion into the mix. A beautiful, compassionate witness to your own emotions that have been stored or trapped, your own energy that just needs to be honored and witnessed and processed in whatever way it needs to. Taking some deep breaths. And if there's tears that come, let them come. If there's anger that rises, let it become like a wave where it just leaves in whatever path it can. Sometimes you may need to clench your fists or clench your body and tighten and contract around it and then release and let go with a big sigh out. Whatever's needed, trust your body's innate intelligence and trust the energy's innate intelligence. It knows what it needs. It knows what you need. Let it guide you. Let it direct you. Let it happen. And then we'll set an intention because the mind likes to grasp and hold on to some things for some reason. So we'll just set an intention. If there's anything you need to know, let it be brought to your heart to be understood and then released in whatever way is purposeful, processed in whatever way is most purposeful. Beautiful. That helped. Some of you were holding on there. Now there's a big wave going down. Just let it. Make sure you have that beautiful electromagnetic grounding cord. And if you don't have one, we'll set one new one right now. There we go. That electromagnetic grounding cord allows any of the electrical scattered energy connected to your thoughts and beliefs to clear. It also allows any magnetic scattered energy related to your emotions to clear. And it can be very efficient. Beautiful. And as these energies are moving, you might actually feel more energy, like a charge of energy. It's like all of a sudden your battery is getting charged. The conductivity changes. Energy is suddenly moving into your hand and your hand is pulsing, or you're suddenly feeling a throbbing or a shifting or a sensation in different areas of the body, like a pulsing, a vibrating, whatever's happening, it's okay. Just let it. Let it. And just know at any time, if it's too much, you can say, okay, back off. Just let it back off a little bit. Let it turn down a little bit. But breathe through it the best you can. Allow it the best you can. And just know that you have a choice anytime to say no, thank you, or to pull it back a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. That permission was helpful for some of you. Some of the energy is going to go down and be used by Mother Earth. So it goes down into Mother Earth so that she can reuse it, recycle it, transmute it. So don't worry about trying to transmute it before it leaves. It's okay to let the energy of anger go, because it will be taken in whatever direction it leaves, it'll be taken and transmuted. It'll be, because your intention is to heal, it will be transmuted. It's not like you're putting anger out into the world. Don't be afraid of that. That's different. If you're holding anger and projecting anger out, that's an unhealthy way to process emotions. That means you're sprinkling energy out into the world. If you're holding fear, or you're afraid to be afraid, and you're projecting fear out into the world, that's sprinkling it out into the world. Very different than processing it and releasing it out of your energy field so that it can be taken and transmuted in a way that would serve. If you're holding it and you're not meant to, then you holding it is actually contributing to the fear in the world. So this is an invitation to release it out to the outer layer of your field, and for it to be transmuted into whatever energy is going to serve and support humanity, support Mother Earth. There we go. Beautiful. So we become at one with the emotions because we're at one with all of our energy. Your energy field is all aspects of you in this unique expression of the divine. And that includes the emotions, the human emotions that come with it. You are a spiritual being having an emotional journey here, having an emotional experience, and your emotions are your superpower. Let them be released. Let them be expanded. Let them be amplified in the way that they're meant to. Don't hold them back. Don't crunch them and tuck them away and hide them. Just for this moment, even if it's only in this moment that you can do this, then I invite you just to unleash them. Unleash them in the way that you just let them be in your field, and unleash them in the way that you ask them to be processed and honored, and allow them to be transmuted in whatever way. Let them have the expression they need to so that they can be transformed. Take some more deep breaths. Breathe out any areas of tension or any aspects of yourself that you're holding out of fear, out of habit. Breathe softening into those spaces. Breathe love into those spaces that are afraid. Breathe love and compassion into those spaces that maybe had some trauma. Meet the parts of you that are maybe holding on to the fear as a way to protect. Maybe it's holding on to the hurt and blocking the heart, but it's only holding the hurt in. It's actually not preventing you from feeling more hurt. It's actually holding the hurt in. And then when new hurt comes, it actually is more magnified. So freeing your heart to release and process the hurt. And when you amplify your energy, your emotional energy, your heart becomes this radiant light. And it becomes very efficient at processing all the energies it needs to. And when you do that, your heart becomes like the sun, and the atmosphere around you in your energy field becomes amplified so much that even if something came in like an emotional dart, you would be able to process it so efficiently. And if someone was trying to come at you with some energy that isn't welcome and isn't allowed in your field, because we don't allow other people's energy in our field, our energy field is ours. It's meant to be yours. The oneness layer is on the outer layer. That's where we're connected to everything. But our inner layers are where we have our human experience. This is where we have the individuation of our divine source. This is our individual experience and expression of divinity. It's unique to you. It's your fingerprint. It's your energy signature. It's very unique, your own frequency. So we interact with the world on the 40th layer, and we keep our inner field clear of clutter, clear of interference, clear of any ill wishes or projections from the outside. And you do that by keeping your emotions processed efficiently, keeping things moving. If you clog the pipes, things slow down and get stagnant, or everything flows slower and harder. So we're looking to really amplify and allow things to flow more efficiently, especially through the back of the heart space. Breathe through the back body. Some of you are afraid to receive, direct connection to your source, afraid to receive guidance, insights, downloads. What if you were open? What if you weren't afraid? What if you could process that fear more efficiently and allow it to clear so that you could be open to allow whatever level of guidance and insight you're open to or capable of handling? What if you could allow that in? There you go. Beautiful. We don't need to be afraid. Fear is not who you are. Fear is who you've been programmed to be. Fear is a programming. It's not yours. It's not you. It's not the truth of who you are. You are not fear. You are love, pure love, divine love. The truth of who you are is pure love, eternal, infinite, boundless. Connect to that oneness right deep in your heart space, right in the center of your source point. And last week we were using the exercise of wonderment, so you could even bring that in. I wonder what it would feel like if all fear was absent from my experience, absent from my mind, absent from my body and my energy field. I wonder what it would feel like to be fearless. That is the truth of who you are. That is your true essence. Fear is not yours. It's programmed. It's embedded. It's plunked on you. It's projected onto you. It's inserted. You don't need to hold it. You don't need to keep it. It's not who you are. It's not the truth of who you are. Many people are afraid to be afraid. They're afraid of fear itself, but a lot more people are afraid of love. They're afraid of their source. They're afraid of that amplified energy. You're afraid to unleash and unlock this emotional, supercharged energy that is you. Don't be afraid. What if you weren't afraid? It's not going to come in all at once. Most people wouldn't be able to handle that. It's like short circuiting the whole system. So we're going to let it come in, invite it to come in to whatever level and whatever degree you're capable of handling right now. Yes, thank you. I let it in. And when you remember the truth of who you are, you will not be afraid. You will be in awe. You will feel at home. You will feel empowered, inspired, lifted, elevated. Let it come in a little bit more. Soften through the back, especially the back of the heart space and the back of the pelvis. Feeling a lot of congestion there. Bringing that energy in and stirring it into the pelvis, stirring it into the central line, stirring it in that beautiful recipe of compassion and love. Divine compassion, not human compassion. Divine compassion, there's no suffering. Divine compassion, there is no judgment. Divine compassion, there is no condition or limits. There we go. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being so open. Thank you for being willing. Bringing the mind along for the ride just enough so that it has enough of an understanding so it doesn't oppose or try and contradict what we're doing. There we go. Beautiful. That's it. Breathe into the back of the heart space. Feel that energy coming in. It's your energy. It's your gift, direct from source, direct from your source. A wave of energy coming through the back of the heart space into the body, expanding out in all directions, 360 degrees. Her human heart. And then we have our divine heart. The divine heart really knows how to process everything that the human heart is feeling. So inviting your divine heart to expand. That connection to your divine source to really strengthen. Consciously saying yes to it, not forcing it, just a real beautiful invitation and then a softening to allow. Yes, thank you. Take some deep breaths. Just invite that feeling and that realization, that recognition that you're supercharging your battery. You're bringing, it's like you're charging your battery till it's full, but then you actually have backup batteries as well in your field so that you have the backup batteries are charged as well. And again, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. It's okay to feel joy. It's okay to feel happiness. And right now, with everything that's going on in the world, there may be a holding back of the joy. There may be a holding back of those emotions that are higher on the emotional scale, those lighter, expansive, spacious emotions like hope, even. Feel the spark. Let it be lit, let it be expanded, let the spark spread through the body, through the mind, through the heart, through the energy field. We all know the saying, be the change we wish to see in the world. So if we look upon what's going on in the world and we add the fear and we add the intensity and density to it, then we're contributing to that. But if we are willing to give ourselves permission to be peace embodied, to be joy embodied, to be happy when we're happy, to be, to have whatever emotion we have in the moment, gratitude, appreciation, love, tenderness, divine compassion. We can meet the fear in the world with love and let love expand. And we don't have to go skipping through a war zone, but we don't need to bring ourselves down into the energy of suffering. We can show up as beacons of light. We can show up as beacons of love, compassion. We can show up as a messenger of hope, inspiration, empowerment. And whatever we're meant to do, we will know if we follow our heart. So we're no longer needing to be in the head. Never really needed to be in the head, but so programmed to be in the head, to lead with the head, to think about things, to analyze, to figure it out. to sort it out in the mind. But really, it's just follow the feeling in the heart. Follow your guidance in the heart. The heart is your bridge to your divine self, guiding, leading you, directing you in every moment. The guidance in your heart is actually in service to all of creation. It's in service to you and all of creation. Everyone is included because our divine self, our source, is operating on behalf of all of creation. It's orchestrating all guidance based on what the needs of the whole are. So we play our individual part. We have our individual expression. We become animated by love and by our divine source. And we show up as these beautiful beacons, messengers. Giving yourself permission to feel whatever you feel when you feel it, without judgment. And if you need space to really safely express how you feel, then create space. Make the space, find the space. Maybe you just need to go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. Maybe you just need to curl up into a ball under the covers and let yourself cry. Maybe you just need to give yourself permission to feel the grief that you've been carrying for so long, to free yourself from it. And in freeing yourself from it, you're freeing all of humanity from that pocket. Because directly or indirectly, anything you're holding will have an impact on the whole. So you doing your own individual healing is contributing to the healing of all. And it's so important, and we're so grateful and appreciative that you're so willing. But you be gentle with yourself. Don't judge yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Meet yourself with compassion. Meet yourself with patience. Meet yourself with love. Give yourself that loving embrace. Hold yourself if you want to cry. Hold yourself if you need a witness. Hold yourself or invite your divine energy to surround you, because it's always there. Just invite it in so that it can really hold you. Because we're never alone. And as I say, giving yourself permission to feel what you feel when you feel it, there are places and spaces in the world, in this human life classroom, that are not going to be supportive for you to really let your feelings flow. So find those spaces that are supportive. Find those areas and individuals that can hold space for you. Take some more deep breaths. And as you exhale, let the breath fall out of your mouth with a bit of a sigh. And you can imagine some of the leftover energy, if you need to, leaving with your breath. And just holding that prayerful affirmation, I release this emotion and allow it to be processed. So you may say, I'm whatever's been most prominent, perhaps the primary emotion all along. I release this grief. I release this sadness. I honor it. I release it. And I give it permission to be expressed and released in whatever way it needs to. And at the same time, I'm open and I invite love I invite joy. I invite peace, whatever it is that you would like to open up to experience more. It doesn't have to be all of those things. Just pick one to really sit in. And if you're unable to reach joy or happiness or those emotions that are more of that expanded frequency, you can land on peace or even land on neutrality. I'd rather you feel neutral than be stuck in a denser emotion. You can be neutral about the denser emotion so that you can process it. That helps. But peace is one of those states, those ways of being that can be sustainable. You can be at peace when you're in grief. You can be at peace when you're angry. You can be at peace when you're in joy and love. Peace is sustainable and can be held constant through any emotional waves, any roller coaster, ups and downs of emotions, any areas of the spectrum, even helplessness and hopelessness. I can be at peace with, I'm feeling helpless and it's okay. Acceptance and peace. I don't like to feel it, but it's okay that I feel it in this moment. I'm going to honor that part of me that needs to feel this and process this and express this. Everything is accepted, everything is welcome, but nothing needs to stay and be stagnant. Energy is moving, let it. Energy wants to move, let it. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine yourself coming back into the physical body and being aware of your physical surroundings. And bringing that emotional intelligence back with you. And you may feel lighter, you may feel brighter. You might open your eyes and suddenly the room is brighter, it looks different. Or you may be aware of some density. Whoa, I have some more processing to do. And that's okay. You could listen back to this and use it again. Or you might just find sitting and creating some space will help you continue to process it. If there's something really right there at the surface, make sure you give it some more space. If there's something that you're having a harder time reaching, getting to, then reach out for help. Follow your guidance. Your heart will lead you to the individuals that are meant to help you or support you, or whether it's a counselor, whether it's me, whether it's a friend, whether it's journaling, follow that nudge. If anybody wants to share in the chat, feel free. Of course, you're in the online community. You can share there as well. There's a lot of emotions being processed right now, collectively and individually. And all the density and any leftovers that we've been holding need to be cleared, because we are moving and moving. We're moving closer and closer into embodying more of a lighter way of being, and having the weight of unexpressed emotions is not possible anymore. So you're not only going to feel the gravity of them more, the intensity of them more, you're just not going to be able to ignore them. You're not going to be able to not process them. It's not going to be possible. So using this practice, coming back to the replay, using it again anytime you need to, it can be a whole new set of, a whole new layers of emotions, a whole new set of emotions coming in. This can support you. This is a tool that you can come back to and support you. So thank you all for being here. If you want to share in the chat, or you can email or share on the social community, if you want to come and join us, heartledliving.com .social is where we are for the social community. And I usually have a link in the replay of this email for this event, but also you can go to the website heartledliving.com and find it under offerings, the free community. Anybody can join. So thank you all that have shared. I appreciate you. I'll read your comments for sure after the gathering. And I appreciate all of you being here and being so willing and so curious and so committed to being on this path and doing the inner work to contribute to that outer gratitude and the outer transmutation that's happening in on our planet, in humanity, our evolution. Everybody, every single one of you is having an impact. So every time you clear one thing, it has an impact. Every time you process one emotion, it has an impact. Every time you say yes to love, it has an impact. So thank you for saying yes to love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so such gracious guests and beautiful hosts on this planet. Thank you all. I appreciate you. I honor you. I see you. Until next time, love and blessings.